Today is October 13th. I'm Rochelle Graham with your digital brief. Let's take a look at your top stories.
Absolute pure hell that broke loose and destroyed everything that we know.
As the violence escalates, the U.S. State Department says it's arranging evacuation flights to get Americans out of Israel. The agency says at least 20,000 U.S. citizens have reached out since Hamas attacked. We continue to hear the stories of people from Metro Detroit escaping the conflict. We're learning the story of how a local church group was able to make its way to safety. Terrell Bailey is on your block in Novi with that story.
As the Israel-Palestinian conflict continues, there's over 24 Metro Detroiters glad to be back home. This is after they say their church group had to flee the country once the violence started.
We do really live in a very safe and blessed land.
For Anna and John Morales, they expected to take an insightful trip to Jerusalem recently. John, a pastor, his wife, and 25 of their church family traveled abroad. As the group reached day 6 out of a 10-day trip, they began to venture off with a tour guide, but after a barrage of sirens, that was quickly stopped.
He said, siren, what's the siren mean? And he said, missiles. When we heard that, we're like, oh, we just started going back as fast as we could to the hotel because the hotel has a bomb shelter in the basement.
The unexpected attack was from the Hamas landing near the Gaza Strip. For John, what was unexpected for him, how quick you have to take cover.
So we learned that you have 80 seconds to get under cover.
The couple says after sticking together and praying in the basement, they were able to go back to their rooms. Later on, finding out just how serious the situation was.
We learned later that day that 10 other sirens went off that morning.
The group spent the next few days aiming to figure out a way home, especially since flights were being canceled. By Monday night, they had a plan to take a bus into Amman, Jordan.
Then from there, we fly Amman to Doha, Qatar, and then from Doha to Chicago to Detroit.
Once on the plane, reality set in that they were heading home, even being surprised by family once they landed here in the metro area.
I started crying for sure on the airplane just as we were landing because it meant we're home.
So happy to see our children.
Safe.
For the Morales family, one thing they say they've been able to take away from this experience is gratitude. They say not only are they thankful to be back on American soil, but they're also thankful for the continued support that they received from their community. In Novi, Terrell Bailey, CBS News Detroit.
In just a few days, Detroit could see another strike, this one by casino workers. The walkout could happen next Wednesday. The unions representing the workers say pay and health care are holding up a new deal. The president of Unite Here, Local 24, says workers made sacrifices during the pandemic and it's time for a fair wage.
We're calling on these companies to stop gambling with our livelihoods. We've helped this industry stay open, to get back on its feet. We need the companies to do better. And if they cannot, then we are prepared to strike if necessary.
And a strike could cause a large ripple effect throughout the local economy. Businesses downtown could lose out on a steady flow of tourists. Let's turn now to next weather forecaster Stacey DeFord with an update on what's outside. Hey, Stacey.
Mostly cloudy skies are outside and they're going to be around all day long. We're expecting a high of 59 degrees, but it's probably not going to feel like that as the winds pick up this afternoon. And we see widespread rain move into the area this evening. It's going to stick around overnight as well as gusty winds. And then for Saturday, we'll see that rain and the windy conditions for most of the day. We will see the wind sticking around for Sunday. Cloudy conditions, another chance for showers early on Monday morning. Then in the middle of the next week, we do start to dry out and warm up. Rochelle?
Stacey, thank you. That's going to do it for today's digital brief. For weather, news, and sports, we're covering it all for you here at CBS News Detroit, streaming live on the CBS News app and Pluto TV.